Welcome to the Practice Power Up Podcast, your go-to destination for all things health practice management. I'm Danielle Hopkinson, head of brand and communications at Power Diary, and joining me is Damien Adler, our co-founder and head of customer success. Every episode, we're here to bring you the latest insights, updates, and transformative strategies to supercharge your health practice. From groundbreaking product enhancements to empowering company news, we're here to help you navigate the path to practice excellence. Stay tuned as we power up your practice's potential. Hey everyone, welcome to the Practice Power Up Podcast with me, Danielle, and our co-founder and our genius, our guru of practice management, Damien Adler. Damien, how are you today?
Very well, thank you. How are you? I can only disappoint now after that introduction.
Well, you do deserve, everything. You are our co-founder after all,
Yes.
And you're leading the charge on making Power Diary and practice management better than ever. So, we've had a little bit of time since our last catch up. In fact, we've got a lot to cover today, between feature updates, improvements, things that have happened in Power Diary. Damien, we haven't been on here since, I think, March. And there's been a lot of things happening, and we've got some awards to talk about. It's oh my God, just too much to talk about. Yeah. So I think we need to dive right in.
Let's dive right in. And I think we've got some updates too and new features for our US customers, which we'll talk about towards the end, but some really exciting things there. So we'll leave those towards the end, and we'll look at first the things that are there that are out there for everyone. So number one, we have UI improvements. So we've had updates to site navigation, menu colors, appointment hovering style, the booking panel, the search bar, a bunch of things. And I think this has been...
The list goes on and on.
It does. And it's a funny thing with UIs, but you kind of constantly, the design principles kind of change. The different types of monitors, different types of devices people are using, changes, and we need to always update and keep it, current, visually kind of pleasing, and functionally, there's always improvements to be made. So some of these things are minor, some of them are more sort of significant. And I think overwhelmingly, the feedback has been sort of really positive. I think our experience has always been to, whenever we introduce a change, that change period can be a little bit challenging, and of course not everyone's going to agree with every change that you make. And I can be a bit like that myself. If a software system I'm using all the time moves or changes a few things, it can be that initial adjustment. You're like, you got to do a little bit more brain work to kind of get used to that, and then you sort of so I think we've had a little, some feedback from people that found that adjustment, they found that a little kind of challenging initially, but overwhelmingly, I think the sort of brighter,
I love it.
More, more spacing around things, a little bit easier on the eyes, and there's a whole bunch of science that goes in behind the scenes, which we won't bore people with the details of, but our UI and UX team and engineers have been doing a lot of work on this.
Well, I will say, I know I'm a Power Diary cheerleader over here, but I do know the amount of work and thought that went into, every decision that was made, because I had the honor of being a part of many of those meetings. So I know that there was a lot of research, a lot of thought, a lot of, just general, we're picky. We want this not only to be, great UI, but we want people to love it. And I know that change is difficult and all of that, but again, I agree with you. I think overwhelmingly very positive, and I think everyone's adjusting now, but it was a very big change. It happened late March, early April, and then kind of things were rolling out over a course of a couple weeks. So people kind of saw those changes coming up. And, I think that even before that, I mean, the messaging panel went out much earlier than that we didn't even give it any great hurrahs. And then this with the booking panel and all the things and the hovers. And I mean, it's just a lot of, good stuff. We do have a really nice, if you're curious about the before and after, maybe you're new to Power Diary and you're like listening to us your first time, you're like, I'd love to see what it looked like before and just see before and after. Again, we think it's great. There is a landing page. We can go ahead and put some information out there for you just so you can see how far we've come. We're always proud of how far we go.
It's funny too, if I look back, at changes we made 2 years, 5 years, 8 years ago. And each time we do that, we always have the same thing. There's always going to be generally good response, but there'll always be some sort of feedback of people who don't like it or have difficulty adjusting. And we always listen to that too to make sure that, there's sometimes we can make an error with something. You just sort of, but most of the time you get this. And I look back at some of the old changes we made and just think, imagine if we hadn't made those, like how like dated.
I would love to see those. I mean, I think that maybe that will be a blog article down the road.
I'll think about
how
one day.
far we've come. Yeah, to lay it out. I kind of always visualize, not to go too off, but we are on a podcast, so sometimes we sidetrack a little bit. But like the iMac or the Mac computer and how it transitioned and where it went to. Kind of like Power Diary, we're transitioning.
Yeah.
We're getting prettier. So, but it was very thought out, and yes, good job for everybody. I know it was it's a lot of work.
Yeah, I think too, just a shout out to a lot of the people that contacted to just pass some positive feedback to. That's really valuable as well. Like we always. Natural human nature is you sort of point out the things that, you either don't like or something. But we've got a whole, it's amazing. It's always very touching when, we had lots of users sort of just reach out, quietly and just sort of say, hey, I really like the, they look at it all day, so that when we can kind of brighten it and lighten it and space it a little bit better and all the rest of it, it's lovely when people reach out and tell us, that they really like it as well. So thanks to everyone who provided that feedback as well. Okay,
absolutely.
Moving on, more updates to the. So we also, part of that, we made some updates to the mega menu styling for the for clients, and again, that was to make it a little bit clearer, easy to find some things on there because that's a mega menu is just for people that might not be familiar with the term, but it's that kind of menu that pops up when you hover over a name and it gives you lots of options. So they're essentially shortcuts for different parts of the client profile or the client record. So it allows you to sort of deep dive straight into an element of it and saves you going into the profile and then clicking to find the section you want. So we've had a bunch of
that was more recent. So that was a more recent one. So we had the other ones before, and then like I said, I think we're even you'll continue to see little add-on features, and I think we got more that are kind of part of that too that are coming up here too. So we can get to those as well. All right, what else happened? So this one's in April. What happened in April? SMS Subscription Management. Now, our product team likes to call these delight features because they are just delightful. They are they make everybody's life so much easier. So, it was always difficult with, subscribes, unsubscribes, and how it is managed. And now we've got a new system for managing the SMS subscribes and unsubscribes that happens directly from the client profile. So this empowers the users to manage their communication preferences, always important, making it just better all around, and it helps you to enhance your privacy and compliance because you can go in there, someone says, I don't want to receive that, you can unsubscribe them, or maybe they accidentally unsubscribe, you can resubscribe them, so you can manage that directly from the client's profile. And that is something new, and again, very like a delight. I'm sure, Damien, on your side of things, I see it as like making just the practitioner's life easier. Is there anything else I'm missing about why that was so, I think it was asked for a long time, that little delight.
Yeah, exactly. And it was sort of, these delight features are often things that aren't major in and of themselves, but they're small things that would sort of make either clinicians or practice managers or admin assistants make their life easier. So it's kind of less fiddly there were issues in the way that the unsubscribe would work in the past, and so they could sort of this way that like it puts the power of unsubscribing in directly with the practitioner rather than it being filtered like higher up. So in the past you could have unsubscribed response come back, which would automatically like unsubscribe, but at a level that was not easily visible
Right.
to the practice, and so then it could lead to a little bit of confusion of where that. So we've sort of changed where that sort of occurs, and now it occurs in the profile where people can go in there and they can actually unsubscribe it, not manage it more like directly, and have a better sense of what is happening. Because sometimes people would do things like a patient might like reply unsubscribe or something accidentally, like to a message from their clinician where they actually meant to do a marketing message from an unrelated company or something. They're just on their SMS and they're like, and they don't, and then that wasn't as manageable as it is now. So people can go in and they can do that kind of within the client profile, and it's better, visibility and control over that.
I love that. So that was a delight, and that went out in April.
April. Yes.
Gosh, I told you it's been a while. So let's keep going. So the next one is appointment location filter. So this is a new filter on the when you're going under your clients and you're trying to do an advanced search. So you didn't have this capability to search with that advanced search on clients. So going under side mega menu, you go down to people, clients, and then do advanced search, and then keep going. You have all these different filterings that you can do, and there's now one for appointment location. So now you can filter by the clients at a specific location if you've got multiple, and then get a nice listing of all of those clients there, and then easily find your clients. So just a nice little, make your life easier. Got to find someone. How can you do it easier? Now, this next one also deals with appointment and location management. I'm going to throw this one to you, Damien, because I think this is something that I'm really going to benefit the practitioner, and I think that they'll love to hear about from you.
Yeah. So this one, this is again relating to the location management, and there's a few components or a few elements to this. So what this does is when you have different locations set up in your practice, you can now go into those locations and indicate what type of location. Is it a telehealth location, or is it an in-person appointment, and so forth? So you can now set those so that it sort of indicates to the system what type of appointment that is or what type of location it is. Now, the relevance of that is, one, it now displays on the calendar. So when you're looking at it, you can see an icon that's showing whether that is what location type it is. So it's good, like visually, to be able to quickly kind of see that. So that's the first thing. It makes it a little bit easier. Often people weren't clear, like, is this appointment a telehealth or not a telehealth, so forth, right? So, or in person. So that makes it a lot clearer. You can sort of see what your day kind of looks like, and also ensure there aren't any accidental bookings in the wrong modality and so forth. So that's sort of part number one. Part number two, which is coming, is that because the system will then know what appointment type it is, it will allow us to sort of customize, or allow our customers to sort of customize the messaging that goes out for an appointment if it's based on the location type. And so that's sort of the second phase, is that it will allow people to sort of better customize that messaging to match because sometimes the instructions and the things that go out, need to be a little bit different depending on the type of appointment it is. Before, there wasn't really in the system a sort of structured way of the system being able to know which type it was, and so this is an improvement to that, and so step one of that is done, and step two to sort of build on the functionality and leverage that is on its way. Again, like all these things, these are in response to feedback. And it's feedback, right?
And laying the groundwork for even better things to come, and the functionality is just constantly improving. So I can't wait to see that the next phase. But the first phase, I think that's really, I love the little icons, little shout outs, and anything that helps me. I'm a visual person, so when I can get that visual, I can see it, I'm like, Easy.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
So that's great.
I think too, as a practitioner, I know myself, and we kind of get this feedback, and not necessarily in these words, but you sort of want to get a sense of your day. You look at your calendar and what you have on, or even when you're prepping, for the next day, you sort of just want to get a glance of what does my day look like tomorrow, or what does it look like today. And when you can see something visually like that, it really improves that sort of ability to get a sense of what your day looks like. Without needing to click into everything and try and sort of construct it in your mind, but just better look and go, okay, I'm doing a bunch of telehealth tomorrow, or maybe that a patient is sick, they can't come into the practice, but we're going to change it to telehealth, and then you can see visually that that's occurred, which saves maybe admin having to contact the practitioner and saying, just so you know, that person's changed it to telehealth, and there's that kind of risk. Well, it's less efficient, but also a risk that might get missed. Whereas, by making it very clear visually on the calendar, it's one of those it's in some ways a small thing, but other ways it kind of makes a difference to being able to get a sense of what, each practitioner has on, and makes the whole thing smoother.
I love that. Now, speaking of visual, there is a new visual or new view that is now available within Power Diary, and that is the monthly calendar view. And this was long requested, so I'm really excited to see that our dev team has gotten this one out there. It is basically, you go to your single practitioner, so pick yourself from your practitioners, pick your location, and then you can choose monthly view, and you can get a great overall picture of what your month looks like. Print it out. You've got it right there. And I think that people have been asking this for a long time. I mean, this is great for long-term planning, seeing what your month's looking like. User feedback wanting this has been it's been just a long time coming. So I'm so glad to have it. I'm sure you can add some even more context to that.
I think it's this is a good example of when we're developing things and working out what things to implement and what don't we. We need to always make sure that we're utilizing the resources of the engineering team to do the things that will have the biggest impact for the most customers, right? So, if something's like a niche request, or it's only going to impact a very small percentage of customers, it's a much harder sort of business case to sort of justify doing that over something that would have a wider impact, right? So sometimes there can be features that some people have wanted for a long time, and we haven't built, right? But we monitor the interest of that actively, like as in every single request that comes in, we log it. We try and tie it back to the person who requested it so we can announce it when it comes through. We can track the change in sentiment about things. So the monthly view, people perhaps, a few people might have asked for that a long time ago, and we had little trickles of requests for it. And then it's one of those things that more recently, maybe over the past 12 months or so, we've seen a change in the trajectory where more people are asking for it, right? And have got business cases where, use cases where it would be really beneficial to them. And so it's one of those things where we have a feature can move from, we know some people are after it, but there's really not not enough interest there to kind of justify it. And then it moves from that into, this is now something that people are actively asking for. And that kind of then we're constantly reprioritizing. And when we are reviewing our roadmap all the time, to say, okay, what's next? And we sort of plot that out. And this is a good example where something has been there. I'm sure there'll be people that are listening now. They're like, oh, I wanted that, years ago. And that's right. We would have that recorded. But with more interest, then we say, okay, this is now going to have a big enough impact and make a big enough difference to people when running their practice. And now it's out. And the feedback has been, we rolled it out initially to some accounts. So sometimes we'll roll things out in a graded way. We got, great feedback, and then it's now global. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Really,
Really
really good.
exciting. I like it. I like seeing the overview. I have my own Power Diary calendar that I use as my test account. So I really liked seeing that view when it came out, and I could appreciate how that could benefit the practitioner. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
now the next one is I get just a little cat follow-up from last time, and that is our automations feature, which was originally in beta, is now out of beta. So you can do unlimited automations and, again, create personalized workflows for you and your team that work to get those communications out to your clients, those invoicing, just again, enhancing that user experience, making it easier for yourself, for your people on your team. And I'm just glad to see that was successful. The beta version went well, and we were able to kind of get that out of beta and give them unlimited capabilities.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think on this one too, that it's built in a way so we have various triggers and things in there now and actions. But we are really interested in in feedback as people use it. If you find there's automations that you want to build, but find, okay, I actually need a trigger that looks like this, or an action that we don't have in there. We've kind of, like with a lot of the features, we sort of build them in iterations, so we'll get a sort of what we call like an MVP, a minimal viable product out initially so people can get their hands on it, use it. And then we get kind of real feedback, about, okay, what sort of tweaks people want, what enhancements they want, rather than us sort of trying to release something that's kind of gold plated to begin with and then find out we missed the mark. It's only when people start to really use something that we get often even better quality feedback from people, because they're like, I really want to be able to do this, and we're like, great idea, do it. So it's been received really well. We've got huge volumes of automations now, which is great, because it just means any automation you can do means something manual someone doesn't have to do. So we love it. But if there are things that you find, I'd really like to be able to do this, let us know, because we can see where those requests are pooling, where there are multiple requests or something, and we go, right, then we know, okay, that's the next automation or next functionality we need to build in that, like the next capability. So keep the feedback going. We've built the feature in a way that will allow us to expand elements to it. So
excellent.
Great.
Excellent. Well, I think that about covers the main thing. Now, at the top of our podcast, you said we had some US specific stuff that we were going to cover at the end. I think we are, let me check my notes. Yes, we are at that point in our feature rollout that we wanted to talk about. So again, this is, it's okay. I'll take the lead.
You go for it.
Good?
Yeah,
all right.
you go for it.
Any context you got, you just throw it on in there.
I'll jump in.
You're our guru over here. So obviously, recently we've been making changes to the system, the US system. So it's the US infrastructure system that allow for us to lay the groundwork to do US insurance claiming. Now, similar to how our Australian friends and customers utilize our Medicare and NDIS integrations, this will allow for our US customers, we're laying the groundwork to do some insurance claiming on their end. So note, if you are in Australia and not utilizing our Medicare claiming and NDIS management, you should be, because it's an excellent feature that our team spent a lot of time perfecting, and they are always, working with NDIS and Medicare to make sure that it's
part of that. We're on that DVA, also private health insurance claiming in Australia via Tyro and so forth. So a bunch of claiming functionality there. If you're not using it, look it up.
Look it up. You should be. You should be. So again, huge feature that we've done for Australia, and something our US customers have been looking for a long time. So for many years now, they've been requesting it. And so over the past couple of months, our engineering teams have been working on updating our systems and functionalities to meet those requirements. So our US customers probably have seen some changes within their system for the US insurance information, US insurance payment management, business and practitioner tax ID. These are all new fields that are popping up within their systems, and other various enhancements to support this upcoming feature. So definitely, if you want more information, you're in the US and you're maybe missing out, or you haven't seen these updates to the fields, you can reach out to support@powerdiary.com and we can pass them along. Again, there's so many of these little nuances laying the groundwork to make this integration possible that we can't really mention them all here, but I'm really excited that it's happened. It's happening. There's more coming every day. But with this feature, it has allowed us for some recent steps that are kind of little, I would say milestones or things that are really important part of the insurance claiming process that we're making kind of functionality available now. And one of those is CMS 1500 printable claims form. So being able to generate that from your Power Diary system, and that will be releasing very, very soon, if not by the time this podcast is released, very soon after. So that will be coming. And also an automation for super bills. So these two things, functionalities will be happening within the next very soon. I can't give an exact date because I know they're just doing the refinements and, it is, they want to make sure they get it right, just as with any of our features. So they're just making sure they're right, that all the information goes to the right places because it will come completed for them. So that is, coming up here soon. Yeah. I'm really excited about it. We're just laying a really solid foundation that's been an important request for a long time. And I think it's just going to be huge, and we're really excited to get this work done. So stay tuned to our Facebook group. US customers, you'll get an email when the CMS and Super Bill go out, and with all the other insurance information as that becomes available, you'll get emails about that as well. Always, you can email support@powerdiary.com. So, I don't know. Damien, you got anything you want to add there?
Yeah, I think we can also say that the sort of, the insurance claiming, what will be coming out sort of soon, will be allow people to electronically submit their claims. So the CMS 1500 is printable, so that's useful. But also that really sort of brings all that information together. But where the next sort of phase of that really will be, and this is literally as we speak now, our team are working and testing this now, but we'll then be able to get that information, submit it via clearinghouse and so forth, and get it through to the insurers and whatnot. So, that is getting very close. And really, it's exciting to have, as you say, it's something that, we growing US customer base that are asking, for these features. So, really good to kind of get that out there.
Definitely support that growing need. So that's awesome. Okay. So that was a lot. Let's all take a deep breath, hit our Zen moment. Wow. Power Diary has been busy, and don't worry, it's not stopping. It's not stopping anytime soon. Deep breaths.
Yes.
We're here.
In fact, we could just tease that we have a few more features that I think people will be very excited about for all customer bases that we haven't been able to announce today because they're not quite out. But there are a few things that we're like, we can't quite put it in today.
I thought it was out. It was Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you a little secret. Danielle gets a feature flag and gets to test out these features before you do. So sometimes I think I have them, or that everyone has them because I have them, and they're not out there yet, but it's coming so soon. There's very good ones coming soon. So we're going to stop there. Everyone's like, Danielle's got secrets. Yes, I do, but that's okay. It's going to be
okay. Great. Let's dive into achievements. So the latest bunch of awards. What have we got here, Danielle?
Yeah. So this goes. I know that you're in winter in Australia, and it's like summer here in the States, but they haven't released the summer G2 awards, but the spring G2 awards did come out. And again, Power Diary we got lots of awards. So we got Leader in Medical Practice Management, Momentum Leader in Medical Practice Management, Leader in Small Business Medical Practice Management, and we're number one out of 500 plus in the medical practice management software category. So
and that's amazing. It's global.
Amazing.
I think we first hit this in December last year, taking out the number one spot, and we are still there. It's an amazing. Like it's hotly contested. To try and get that, and to see that kind of feedback from customers, and there's strong competitors out there. So it's really amazing, and to see that, and we are still in that that number one spot, which this is good. I mean, ultimately it reflects, if you have a look at the G2 and you look at customer satisfaction, all those things, you can see the components that make up the scoring, and ultimately, happy customers that are finding it useful to run their practices. Ultimately that's what it means, and that's what we're here for. So, it's really nice to, to see that there.
I agree. And I mean, and then there are other review sites out there. So
yes.
Software Advice recently published an article with the top affordable medical practice management softwares. Power Diary is at the top of that list. So we will go ahead and include a link to that article wherever this is at, so that you can go ahead and check out that article, learn more about Power Diary, share us with your friends. If you're not already a customer, come on over. We're on the list. So great. All right. So let's we got to wrap up here because we are running late on time. So past events, Damien, you and Fiona recently did, you did a slash admin time and increased productivity power talk, and how your customers can save 10 to 15 hours per week, how our customers can save 10 to 15 hours per week. Great webinar. I loved it. People loved it. It is now available for replay on our website or YouTube. And again, you guys really dove into the top productivity strategies used by MBAs globally. You gave them some simple tools that most profitable clinics use daily. Plus, you spoke a little bit about new automations feature, is how our new automations feature is taking customers' productivity to the next level. Yeah. So again, whether you're a group or a solo, you need to head on over, right, and watch the webinar.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, it's always when we produce webinars and we do them, always interested in the feedback, because we're trying to obviously deliver as much value as we can to people, and you never really know if you hit the mark or not. When you're doing it, you're putting together what we think is going to be helpful. But it's really interesting with this webinar. I think this webinar is taking out some new records internally. We look at our stats, to see what people like and don't like. And I was looking at this just yesterday, and it's currently our most replayed webinar. It was the most watched webinar. It had the highest completion rate. In other words, people actually watch it to the end, because everyone's busy, and sometimes people drop off, or let's say if we're boring and we're not talking about stuff that people want, then they'll drop off, and that's fair enough. So we try and keep it interesting. But that one, it is it's really doing very well. So
it was good.
If you haven't seen it, check it out.
It was a good job. It was really, I think it was a worthwhile watch. It's just, you get that education, you get, you and Fiona really work well together, and your banter and your knowledge. So definitely everyone needs to head on over to YouTube or on our webinars page on our site. Watch the replay. It was a good one. Now you're back at it again. You've got one more you got a webinar coming up here at the end of this month. So then in June, Damien's a very busy man. And it is going to be with one of our product team members, May. She's been on a webinar with you before. She's fantastic. And you guys are going to talk about beyond booking, expert tips for the waitlist management. So we've gone from a professional topic. Now we're going to talk a little bit more feature related. Really excited to get you guys in here, show off the waitlist and how you can use it to take your practice management to the next level. So it could be a real game changer, as you guys say in the description. But that waitlist feature is pretty robust. So I think we're excited to get in there.
I think so. And I think waitlist used to be really kind of basic going back some time. And over the recent times, we've sort of been rolling out different improvements to it. And I think maybe not everyone's aware of all the things it can do. Like it's really pretty cool, right? And it's becoming increasingly important as practices are getting busier and busier. And people have waitlists managing them. It's important clinically. It's important from a medico-legal point of view, and of course from a customer service point of view. So it's got some really cool features that we've built over time, and so a really nice opportunity to sit down with May from product, and really we'll do a bit of a deep dive into that, and we're going to explore and so just demonstrate the different features and how and when you might use them, what our customers are saying, and so forth. So that will be a lot of fun. May is good value, so I'm looking forward to that. We have we've already prepped that one.
It is our colleague May.
Colleague
And
May.
it gets me confused every time. And that will be at the end of June. So June 25th, 26th, I believe, at the end of this month, you can register. You will get emails. So if you're getting our emails, go ahead, sign up that way. If you're part of our email list, if you're new to Power Diary, go on over to the webinars tab on our website and go ahead and sign up. It will take you directly there. So we did it, Damien. We got through a lot of stuff here. I hope everybody enjoyed listening to us today. I think we got some fun commentary in there. We also got to touch on a lot of really great features. So thank you for joining me across the world. And yeah, I don't know, got anything else to add?
No, look, just thank you, Danielle, and thanks
right.
to everyone. And again, if there is feedback on the podcast, you want to hear more of, less of, whatever, let us know. We do read all the comments, and we do, we're always looking to improve what we do in every area. So let us know.
Absolutely. All right.
Wonderful.
Bye, everyone.
Take care. Bye.